So I'm making this video because I've been MIA. I haven't been feeling great, but now I'm back. It's just this makeup look. It's like an in-between spring and winter, feeling kind of orangey. I don't know. Anyways, hope you like it. I'm still using my Makeup Forever HD foundation. Right now my face is screaming at me because I can't stop eating sugar and I'm getting my period in 3 days. So this is what we're working with. I have moisturized, I've cleaned my face, moisturized it, and now applying foundation. And I just okay. George! George! No! George! 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 I usually go in with concealer, and since I'm doing a little bit like of a evening look, I'm gonna use a heavier concealer on a day-to-day basis. Sometimes I won't even wear foundation, I'll just wear the Maybelline Fit Me, which has been in a previous video of mine. It was like my summer look. This is my go-to, like, I just want to hide that I'm tired, but I don't want to hide like imperfections and things necessarily. This just makes me look more even tone. But for today's purposes, I'm going out to dinner tonight, so I'm gonna wear a heavier concealer, and I'm still using my Shape Tape. I'm using the color Light Sand. I was using the neutral color as well. And I'm not gonna highlight too much, but I think I'm gonna do little spot treatments just to lighten. And I'm still using similar products from other videos, like the RCMI setting powder in my Laura Mercier cup. And I'm still just putting it on my Beauty Blender. And getting real up in the crease. And I'm just gonna put a thin layer on. I don't really need a lot because I don't want it to dry out my under eyes. I'm still using the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade. I'm using a darker color because, hello, my hair got darker naturally, and we're just working with it. So I'm using color Ebony, and it completely broke in half, even though I thought that this thing was indestructible. It's just dropped so many times, but it finally broke. Okay, and I'm also using the original, like, Anastasia spoolie on one end, angled brush on the other, and I mean, looking real cute. Starting with the brow we like most. In a perfect world, my eyebrow would begin where, like, here, closer in towards my nose. So we're gonna make it that way. When I dip my pencil in, I kind of like rub a little bit off. I just don't want it to be so concentrated. I'm going for more of like a natural brushed look rather than that shadow look. And I'm just making hair strokes and following my eyebrow. This is like the thickest part of my eyebrow. This is probably like the thinnest part of my eyebrow. So what I want to achieve is more hair. So we draw it on, especially from underneath here. And I'm using a very light hand. I'm really not applying a lot of pressure just because I can just keep building and just adding to a tail much longer than the one I already have. And just like a soft arch. And what I didn't do before and that I have been doing now is just making sure that this kind of like gradually goes up rather than like a bold line, a bold line, a bold line. Like I'm starting my hair a little bit lower and then getting taller, just so it's like a natural shape. So again, just kind of like starting in closer, a little bit lower, getting higher, and then about where my eyebrow hair starts going left, I'm just gonna kind of follow its shape. That's the key, is to not like, oh, I saw this eyebrow on Instagram and so I'm gonna achieve that eyebrow. Like really pay attention to the direction that your eyebrow hair grows. Okay, I'm satisfied. Eyebrows are done. That usually takes the longest. Moving on to bringing some color into my face, and just like my previous video, I'm going back into my Z palette because that's where my Kat Von D bronzer is. Just using this. And I'm just following the hollows of my cheeks in like an upward brushing motion. I'm gonna make sure I go on my forehead to shape my face, bring more definition. This can be like just a messy application because I'm using a pretty fluffy brush. All right, let's use a little bit of blush. I'm going into my palette. I have a blush color here that's pretty great and neutral and peachy, but also like not too warm. And I'm keeping it on the apples of my cheek and going back up. But I'm gonna use this like a light chocolatey brown color. And I'm just gonna tap off excess. I don't want it to be. Okay. I'm just gonna cover the lid. So I'm just focusing on the lid and making sure that from where my eye creases here is just circular motions to drag out the eyeshadow rather than it being one dark splotch on your eyelid. This creates like a natural gradient. Right, in a perfect world, I would have an angled brush to go underneath my eyes right now, but this will also do just because I don't want like a precise dark line. I want more of like a smokier, natural finish. So I'm gonna go in with that like chocolatey color that I have. Ooh. I want to add just a little something. This is just a little like eye pencil, eye and eyebrow pencil in the color dark brown, and I'm just gonna add very lightly, but it'll just make my eyelashes appear slightly darker, whereas black will just make it obvious that you're wearing eyeliner. Okay, let's do eyelashes, shall we? I'm gonna use, looks trashy and abused, the Voluminous Lash Paradise from L'Oreal. So a quick tip while I'm putting on my mascara, before I put on my makeup, I make sure that my moisturizer is set and absorbed into my face before I put on my foundation. One thing is, if you don't use moisturizer, a good moisturizer that your face absorbs, it can be blotchy, your makeup application. Also, if your skin hasn't absorbed it, it can also look as if like your foundation is moving on your face, like it's still liquidy. So that's two different things to avoid with a good moisturizer. I always wait like a good 5 minutes before I put on my foundation just to make sure that my moisturizer has been absorbed by my skin. I'm gonna spray it with a little bit of the Mario Badescu oopsies. During the winter time, when I feel like my moisturizer needs to be a little bit heavier, I'll add like 2 drops of this to my face moisturizer and just let it set into my skin overnight. But I've also found that it's like a pretty oily, I don't really need to use that much. Ooh, that's even like too much. I literally just put it on my hand. I didn't even let the bottle like squeeze. Let's get rid of a little bit of it. I'm going to, it's just like a really nice oil. I'm gonna use some on my face. And that is to use the Glossier Halo Scope in color Moonstone. I can rub a little bit onto my hand. And this is obviously thicker than the oil on my hand, but it gives a nice color. It's that nice sweaty look. Last but not least, add a little bit of color to my lips. Glossier Generation G in the color Cake. And it's like an orangey, peachy, natural brown. Super cute. This is my in-between winter, spring. I still haven't done my hair in a couple weeks. Look. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Maybe I'll do another. Hopefully see you soon.